Hello and welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of this Football Manager 17 career with On the Touchline. If you caught the first episode of Season 2, you'd have seen that we changed jobs and we moved on from Dundela and we're now in charge of Alfreton. We are on the first day of the season. I've got through pre-season, I've managed to make a few tweaks to the squad, and we are going to be playing Halifax Town at home today in our first game at North Street. So the new challenge is here. We're ready to attack this season and see where we go. I suppose the first thing that I need to take you through are the expectations of the club. The board want a mid-table finish in the National League North. They'd like us to reach the first round of the FA Cup and the second round of the FA Trophy. So I think there's some achievable goals there for us to aim at. Alfreton finished 15, I think it was, last season. So hopefully we can improve on that and maybe make a little bit of a playoff charge. If we have a look at the season preview, we are predicted to finish 7th, so not a million miles off the playoffs. I think playoffs are from 2nd place to 5th place, so maybe we could make a little bit of a playoff charge, but the odds on us are quite kind, so hopefully we can achieve something this season. First game's against Halifax, who are third favourites for the league title, so it's going to be a difficult start, but hopefully it'll be a good start for us. I'll take you through some of the transfers I've made. We had a brief look at the squad in the first game, so I'll take you through the transfers, then I think I'll talk through the 11 that I've picked for the first game. So first thing to know is that we lost a few players. I suppose the most notable of those is Fabian Spice, not quite sure how to pronounce that. He was a goalkeeper, 23 years old, and was a bit of a prospect. Unfortunately, his wage demands were rather too high for us. If I try and go back in for him now, he wants to be a key player and to treat the club as a stepping stone. I'll see that. We might be able to persuade him in, but he wanted around £800 a week, which just was not going to happen with our budget, so we let Fabian go. Paul Clayton was one of the club icons, or favourite personnel. I think he was a club icon. He's not really a great player, and I was thinking about keeping him on as an option. He could play out wide and as a target man and just behind the striker as well. It would have been a versatile option, but I decided it was time to let him move on. He'll be retiring at the end of this season anyway, and he hasn't found himself a club, so it doesn't seem to have caused too much upset that we've let Paul Clayton go. Go through a couple of others. Ivan Garnett was a striker who's was on a non-contract. He's moved on to Darlington. He was looking okay, a 23-year-old. We might need to get a bit more depth up front now we've lost him. He wasn't going to be a starting striker though, so I didn't make too many efforts to keep him. And the rest of this list wasn't really any first team threatening players. Just a quick flick through some of these, and it doesn't suggest that they were going to be threatening the first team, although Paul Marshall looks like an interesting player. Played 20 games last season and he's moved on to Southport, but he's on a non-contract, so I might just have a little scout of him just to see what comes up. Might be able to get him back. So, time to have a look at the incomings. First in, there were 3 that came in on the 1st of July as soon as the transfer window opened, and I went for Jack Byrne from Solihull Moors, midfielder, centre midfielder. He's looks like a decent player, wants to be a ball-winning midfielder, which I think we need at this level. And he was playing Vanarama National football for Solihull Moors. They got relegated, but he was playing a lot of football for them. So he's come in with that experience of the higher league, so hopefully that will be useful for us. 28, so he's still got a bit of time left in his career. Alan Massey's come in at centre half. We were a little bit light there, so he's come in and he's a bit of a leader, determined character, good bravery, good tackling. and teamwork. So he looks like a really good team player to bring in. Can play left back if we need him, but he'll be playing at centre half for us. I have also made him vice captain. Graham Montgomery is coming in on the left hand side. He looks decent. He's got decent long shots, passing, technique, crossing, dribbling, corners. His finishing's decent. He looks like a decent player. His physicals are reducing, but he looks like he'll be a good player out on the left hand side for us. Brendy Glackin has come in from Oldham. They're our parent club on loan. He's a target man. We needed a bit more depth up front. We've got Craig Westcar and Liam Hearn up front, and we needed a decent reserve. So Brendy Glackin has come in, and he'll get himself a lot of football this year. Aaron Howe has come in as our goalkeeper to replace Spies. So he's come in. He's been playing Vanarama South football most recently for Hampton and Richmond. So experienced keeper. He'll be starting as our #1 goalkeeper. Ronaldo Brown has come in, also from Oldham on loan. He's a winger. He's can play out wide on the left as an inside forward, or he can play out wide on the right. So he's an 18-year-old to come in and give us a little bit of pace out wide. Sam Ling has come in on a non-contract. We needed some depth at right back. I did have my eye on another guy who just wanted too much wages, to be honest. So we've got Sam Ling in, only 20 years old and decent physicals, and looks okay as a right back. So he will come in and play there. Lewis Taff is an option out wide. He can play wide right, can play across the midfield as well, and maybe up front. So a versatile player that's come in. And Jay Wilson is the final player to come in. He was on trial for a while, brought him in on a couple of trials, and then he wanted a non-contract deal, so I was quite happy to give him that, and then he gives us another option in the squad. So those are the transfers that we've made. I'll go ahead and pick the team, and we'll see you for the match. And here's the side for today's game. We're going to be going with a 4-4-2 formation. I have got that as an option. We've done a little bit of work with this 4-5-1 in pre-season as well, but it's mainly been this 4-4-2 formation. And the first thing to note, I suppose, from this screen is that we've got quite a small squad. As you can see, there's only 4 players outside of the starting 16 today. We do have a couple of youth players in the under-23s and under-18s, but I might need to fill out the squad a little bit, I suppose, just to get a little bit of depth when injuries inevitably take hold of this squad. We are currently overspending on wages, so I might have to bring in non-contracts if I can. But let's go through the side that we've got for today's game. Aaron Howe we've seen previously. He's the new goalkeeper. Sam Ling is the guy who's coming on a non-contract. He will be starting at right back. Terry Kennedy is the captain of the side, 23-year-old centre-half. He's going to be playing at centre-half alongside Massey, the new signing, who is also his vice-captain. Left back will be Tom Allen, who looks like a decent left back, can play centre-half as well. 22 years old, bit of room for growth, so he looks like a good player. Jay Wilson will start out wide on the right for us, the young 18-year-old, with Graham Montgomery, the left winger that we signed, one of our first signings. He's going to be playing out wide. Jordan Winter was here previously. He looks like a decent midfielder, can play defensive midfield. He'll be starting in midfield for us alongside Jack Byrne, the signing from Solihull Moors, so he gets his debut. And up front we've got Liam Hearn and Craig Westcar. So these guys were here last year, so they'll continue their partnership up front. Craig Westcar's development looks a little bit worrying here. Might need to get him training a little bit, but the other thing to note, I suppose, is that the squad doesn't particularly look match fit here. I've done a bit of work in pre-season. I'll have a quick look at those results before we get into it. Liam Hearn's been our best performer. He scored 4 goals in pre-season. We started with a 3-1 win against Newcastle Town. 0-0 draw at home to Charlton under-23s. A 3-1 win away from home. Brandy Glackin, our guy in on loan, scored a goal in that game. Lost at home to Portsmouth. Got a nice, nearly 2,000 came in for that game, so that was a nice crowd for that one. And Liam Hearn scored the equaliser in a disappointing 1-1 draw at Bedworth. And that brings us to today's game at home to Halifax. So we'll get into the game. So finally, here we are, match day against Halifax. I think they're going to go in with a 4-5-1. And that's the team that we've picked. Bit of a warning about the lack of match fitness, but I was already aware of that, and there's not a huge amount I can do about it. So we do have 3 games in the first week of the season, so I imagine we could end up with a team full of injuries, or we could end up with a match fit squad after the first week of the season. So hopefully we'll end up with the second scenario there. They are going in with a 4-5-1 against our 4-4-2. Not too many names I recognise in their side, possibly Stephen Craney, 36-year-old Scotsman. Yeah, I do remember him at Blackpool. Brought in some coaches. Simon Downer's our best tactical coach, so he can do the opposition instructions and just get some team talks through to try and motivate the team. So here's the first look at our home ground at North Street, and there we are in our home kit of all red. So nice little ground. Expecting a crowd of about 700 for this game, but let's hope we can get those crowds rising through the season. So a free kick here, and we've gone 1-0 down to Halifax. This is the first highlight of the game. It's been a game of very few shots, never mind clear-cut chances, but a free kick for Halifax has been fired into the top corner, over the wall. Difficult one for Howe to get anywhere near, and Sam Madeley has scored the goal for Halifax. So that's been a poor first half from us there. We've gone in with this defensive outlook with the side. I don't know if we've only had one shot, so I might need to do something a little bit more expansive with this, possibly. I might try and change one of the midfielders to be a box-to-box midfielder. Try and get someone a little bit closer to the strikers. But it's not been a great start. Let's have a look what we've got here. Go a little bit more direct, I think. Starting to have a few more shots. We haven't created anything of note yet, so it's time to make a change. We'll get Lewis Taff on the right hand side, and possibly looking at another change. Might hold it back for now. I think we'll go on to a standard mentality and try and make a bit of an impact on this game. Try and get ourselves a bit further forward in this game. So here we are, free kick in our own half, and pretty poor play. The ball's scrappy, and the ball's down the left hand side here for Halifax. Phillips has the ball, and his cross is just about dealt with by the keeper, and Ling puts it behind for a corner. And the corner is punched away by Howe there, but the ball's back out wide, and Howe picks up the second cross as well. So making a bit of a change here, going to push the wingers on a little bit more, get Ronaldo Brown on into an inside forward role on the left hand side, and possibly looking at bringing Brendan Glackin on up front, maybe as a target man, but we'll leave that for a little bit at the moment. So a throw in here for Halifax. Ball's back to Hibbs, deflected, 2-0. And this difficult game looks like it's going the way of Halifax. See, the throw was taken, ball pulled back to Hibbs, who tried to have a cross. It deflected off Ling by the looks of it, and it's 2-0. Final change for us today, we're going to give Jack Byrne a bit of a rest and get Bradley Williams on into centre midfield. And the game's coming to a close here. It's been a difficult game. We haven't really created anything. There's been no highlights of note for us. And Halifax have come here and won 2-0. So that's a disappointing start to the season for us. I hope that's not a sign of things to come. Halifax are a well-fancied side in this division, so try not to panic too early. Alan Massey looked like he had a good game. He had a good game at centre half. Not too many other performances of note. Tom Allen struggled a little bit at left back, but it's a disappointing start overall. So that's the end of our first game in charge of Alfreton Town. You can see how many debuts were made in this game by that little bit of news. We've also been given a little bit of cash for giving Ronaldo Brown his debut. But yeah, that's a poor start to the season. We've got some games coming thick and fast here. So we've got Macclesfield away on Tuesday, Blyth and Stockport in successive home games, and then Darlington away and Chorley away. I'll look to get through 6 or 7 games and then come back. So the next game that you'll see will probably be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Probably North Ferriby on that Tuesday night game. A trip to North Ferriby will probably be the next game that you see. So I hope you've enjoyed that episode, this new challenge we've got at Alfreton Town. It's a disappointing start, but let's hope there's better things to come. I'll see you next time.